What's up, everybody? What's going on out there? I know you guys are really excited for this one because this is an absolute banger of a news. Obviously, we want to celebrate in the chat. Now, obviously, today I want to go through the brand new signing of James Fisher-Harris coming to the Warriors, guys. W's in the chat, please. Feel free to continue chucking in the chat your thoughts overall. I'm going to give you my little spiel, my little thoughts overall on the signing overall and all that. We'll go through the announcement from the Warriors. Then we'll go through a couple of stats and a couple of things where I feel like James Fisher-Harris will help out our club. But so good, guys. I got a couple of questions for you guys a little bit later on to see where your thoughts are at overall on where he actually sits as an all-time signing, because I honestly do believe that he's got to be one of our better all-time signings overall. So shout out to all the regulars in the chat as well. Rich, Nanad, Punter, Jazz, good to see you guys. Jacko here, Jazz again, and Joshua Hill. Good to see all you guys in the chat, obviously. First of all, I do want to touch on the Nad over here because I know, I don't know why you've chucked this in the chat, bro. But, bro, where's the money coming from? I think something is sus. Of course, nothing is sus, my man. I know you're a Dragons fan and all that. It's going to be a big game this weekend. And I know you're in here just to talk a little bit of shit, and I love it. But obviously, overall, we all do know that Addin Fonua-Blake is leaving the Warriors next year to go to the Sharkies and all that. So, you know, DSP, actually a really good comment here. This is something, this is all new and all that. Not this one, sorry. I'll bring this one up. Fox League is reporting Fisher's contract to be worth $675K. What an absolute steal if true. And I completely agree with you too here, Punter. Sorry, it was Punter that put up this comment up here. Amazing comment. I honestly do agree. And back to obviously Nanad. The money on his obviously does come from Addin Fonua-Blake. He was an $800K contract or upwards. There was rumors obviously of like the mill mark and all that sort of stuff. So it frees up a ton of money. No one saw this coming. Honestly, no one saw this coming. I think, you know, we had rumors that maybe we're going to have someone come to the club, a little bit announcement a little bit later on in that, but just no clue that it was going to be James Fisher-Harris. Like, if you looked at everyone else that was coming off contract, I was honestly thinking in my head, like a Griffin Neame, like a Leo Thompson, maybe we can entice back like to the Warriors, to New Zealand. We got the alpha dog himself, the captain of New Zealand. We got the golden boot winner. I think that's like just on a different level, really, like to think of like where this club has come from and to where it's at now to where we can entice home. I know it's for personal reasons and all that sort of stuff, but we got to also say we enticed him just the way we're playing at the moment. I don't think Fish would have wanted to come home if the club was, you know, winning wooden spoons and all that sort of stuff. And that's my honest opinion there. But so good to see you guys talking in the chat here. Jacko here, 675K, a steal. He must want to come home. 675, yeah. If that's right, that is a complete steal. And that gives us still so much room in our cap. Joshua Hill, AFB was 950 plus. So that's what I mean here. So we lose AFB and an alpha dog. And I think like out of the two, you know, obviously AFB brings the attacking ability and all that sort of stuff. But if we're looking at a guy that's just all leadership, hard nose, works his ass off, defensively just so sound, we got that in James Fisher-Harris, and I feel like that's where he kind of outweighs AFB in our eyes. I think AFB is more so the attacking threat, the post-contact meters, the meters, where James is just the leader, you know, the alpha dog in that pack. AFB is an alpha, but Fisher-Harris, man, like, you know, the defensive work he gets through, the leadership, I think that's a big thing, and everything this guy touches just turns to gold. But it's so good to see you guys over here in the chat overall. Nas hates Waz. He won't come here. Jacko, obviously, there was a comment about Nas. Here it is. Alec, I thought Nas was going to come back home amongst what's going on with him and the Storm. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. Obviously, you know, we actually heard a rumor that maybe something was going to be announced today, but there was no name at all dropped. And honestly, like, I'm so surprised to see what it is now. So unfortunately, guys, obviously you haven't noticed, Levon unable to jump on the stream tonight, has some family commitments and all that to do with. Maybe he jumps on, maybe he has a sneak surprise one. He's done that before to us. The man, the fearless leader himself of Waz Up TV. But yeah, back to that. We actually had a little bit of a tip off last night that maybe something was going to be happening. No names, nothing like that. And me and Levon honestly were bouncing back and forth on who could this be? I was swaying the way of Griffin Neem or Leo Thompson, and I would have been completely happy with those guys because I think those guys' future is on a different level. But honestly, to see Fisher-Harris, bro, like that just, man, like, just so much to talk about, guys, so much to get through. Obviously, you know, I will get to your comments more so later on, but great to see 51 eyes on this video here today. Obviously, we're streaming on Waz Up TV. If you haven't gone to sub and check out Waz Up TV on YouTube, go check it out, guys. We're going to build this channel to something absolutely amazing. We're also on X / whatever Twitter it used to be and all that on Waz Up Podcast. Shout out to everyone that's on X and all that, and also anyone that's on my channel, because I felt like, you know, this should be shared, the love. Anyone that is on my channel, guys, I would actually love for you guys to come over to Waz Up TV, subscribe, like, because this is where most of my Warriors content will probably be ending up these days, because I love working with Levon and all the boys here. Like, it's an incredible channel, so I think we're going to grow to something special. But now, I know you guys are blowing up the chat right now, and 52 eyes, like, I love you guys, and I do want to point out every single one of your chats because there's some absolutely amazing stuff going on here. But I do want to go through the actual statement that's been put out by the Warriors and, you know, the thoughts overall from the club and all that, and then we'll go through all your guys' questions and where you guys think about your signings and stuff, because I do actually have some questions for you guys, and I'd love to see what you guys think about this move here. But moving on here, so the Warriors statement here, Fisher-Harris signs from 2025. As we know, obviously, you know, he has signed for a 4-year deal to join the One New Zealand Warriors from next season. The 28-year-old, so still 28, young into his career. Obviously, you know, he can probably play up to about 30, 32. You've seen other players these days get up to, like, you know, the 34 mark and all that. But as a front rower, usually that, like, you know, that age limit does, like, tail off there. So I think the 4-year for a 28-year-old is actually not too bad. I think, you know, the leadership he's going to bring to the club is going to be absolutely incredible. So obviously there. So the 28-year-old Northlander has reached an agreement with Penrith to be released from the last 2 seasons of his contract on compassionate grounds, so he can move back to New Zealand to be closer to his family. So as Warriors fans, we do know about this a lot. There is, you know, moments, you know, we've had obviously AFB move back to Sydney next year due to compassionate reasons. We've had Reece Walsh due to, you know, compassionate reasons about his child and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, obviously it's so good to see it happen on our end now. You know what I mean? That's definitely a positive that's coming our way as well. A 183 game NRL veteran, and 183, you know, that's a lot of games, but still, you know, you see like some front row forwards and all that get up to the 300 mark, 250s and stuff like that. I think he's still got a lot of footy in him, of course. Fisher-Harris has been at the forefront of Penrith's runs for the 3 consecutive premiership wins, 21, 22, and 23, as we know, while he also played in the 2020 grand final. So we're getting a player that is very experienced, that has been to the big game, and and has done it in multiple different levels, as we're kind of going to be touching on in this sort of sentence here. He led the Kiwis to a record 30-0 win over my Kangaroos. Guys, if you don't know personally, I am an Aussie. I just chose the Warriors as my fan, like as a club that I love because of Sean Johnson and, you know, the old years. I used to love the way the Warriors played. So it's a weird little one. We'll go about that another day and all that sort of stuff. But over my Kangaroos in the Pacific Championship final, last culminating in him, I don't know if I read that right, but in him winning a Golden Boot Player of the Year award. So that's another tick to add to that. We're getting another Golden Boot winner. Obviously, we already have one at our club. I think, actually, I'm not too sure if RTS has a Golden Boot, but we definitely know that Shawnee does. So we got 2 Golden Boot winners in our club at the moment. That's pretty good to see. And obviously, Chancey nearly got a Golden Boot as well, like the way he played in that Pacific Championship as well. Cameron George comes out and says, we are absolutely delighted to be able to sign James. It is a huge signing for us, undoubtedly one of the biggest in our club's history, and that's kind of a question I will be coming to you guys a little bit later on, is where he kind of sits overall. To be able to add a player of his caliber and standing to our squad is a tremendous boost for 2025 and beyond. He's such a highly respected player and leader, and that's a big thing. That's a big word right there, guys, is leader. This is a guy that obviously Tohu is our captain right now, but he has that potential to be a future Warriors captain, or, you know, maybe a co-captain with Tohu Harris. I think that's definitely, you know, where he could sit because his leadership skills is on a different level. One New Zealand Warriors head coach Andrew Webster and Fisher Harris will be reunited, working together when Webster was an assistant coach at the Penrith Grand Final winning 21 and 22 season. That's one big thing I actually wanted to touch on too, is how much Webby has changed this club in such a short period of time. Because I know for a fact, compassionate grounds, 100%, that's all there. But I know this man here would have had a lot to do with all this going on right now. He had a lot to do with Kurt Capewell coming out and coming to us up from the Broncos and that. Oh man, we'll talk about him a little bit later on. I feel like this is the best time to just be like, Webby, bro, like, you can have us, man. Like, you're amazing. Like, I'm not sure if New Zealand want a new prime minister right now, but Andrew Webster should be the top of that list right now, the way he's going. One of our game's elite players, a super tough forward who sets and demands the highest standards. And obviously that's a great outlook from Webby here. Obviously continuing to look at our club to just continue to grow and become the best that we can at best abilities, and to bring the highest standard. He is definitely the highest standard of front rower in the competition right now. It's going to be fantastic fantastic having James with us. He's one of the game's elite players, super tough. Yeah, as he said before, I loved working with him at the Panthers, and we really look forward to bringing him into our system for next season. He is a terrific value to our roster and to club overall. He will also be invaluable as a mentor for our young players coming through. This sentence right here, that gets me going. Especially when you look at some of the talent we coming through our junior grades right now, especially the Zion Mai'u'us of the world, you know, Sifakulas of the world, you know, Fisher Harris, if we do remember from, if you guys have watched, you know, some of his older tapes of Fisher Harris, was one of those players that actually push the limit. He used to be a highly aggressive player, played on the edge, had a couple of moments where suspensions and all that creeping into his game, but it actually matured over his years and has turned into such a complete footballer that holds his aggression to actual moments where it is needed. He's the alpha on the field, and he can show people like Zion and Sifakulas and all these sort of boys that have that aggressive streak in them to not overstep the line. It's very similar to, you know, Barnett has come to our club and has grown to become that player. Fisher Harris already has that in spades and can show these boys of how to do that as well. And, you know, we'll touch on how that looks with Barnett up front as well a little bit later on. I think that looks incredible, and all just little stuff going on here. James has such a standing in the game. He's a player with real mana. I love that. Who commands respect on and off the field, said New Zealand Warriors General Manager of Recruitment, Pathways and Development, Andrew McFadden. So other little stats here, obviously, you know, 1996, James Fisher Harris the same age as me. That's hectic. Obviously, you know, his birthplace and all that. 187 centimeter prop, 103 kilos. Been at the Panthers since 2016, and he will be going to the Warriors in 2025, guys. Overall, he scored 12 tries, so he's accumulated 48 points in NRL, and appearances 183, as we touched on before. Representatives, he's had 15 tests for the Kiwis, and with the Māori All-Stars 2019, 2021, 22, and 23. So this man, bro, like the experience, what he brings to this club is just on a different level. And like, man, to actually pick up a player like this, bro, it just, the jitters, man. Like, I'll tell you the story of how I found this out and all that. So, as I said, to start, me and Levon actually had a tip-off. Levon had a tip-off the other night that something was going to happen, right? And as I said to you before, we're kind of going through, who it could have been. I did that exact same thing with a couple of my boys at work, one of my best mates at work. We were going back and forth and, like, trying to think who this could be. Like, maybe this has happened, or maybe this tip-off was completely wrong. Like, I know we've been searching for a front row forward and all that for AFB to replace him, but we were just like, I don't know who it could be and who could be at the standard to be, like, something, like, incredible. Like, Leo Thompson's incredible, Griffin Neiman, all that, but I just don't know if they're, like, willing to move back to New Zealand, especially when, like, the Knights rely so much of sorry guys, that Naz Williams, appreciate you, bro. So much of the Knights rely on Leo Thompson to be their future. I don't think they rely on the Saifiti brothers as much as what they used to before. I think they believe that Leo Thompson's their future. The Cowboys with Griffin Neame, I'd love to see them put a lot more time into Griffin Neame and all that sort of stuff. He would have been the one that I would have saw more likely to come with us, but it didn't really happen. So I've got through my day of work, guys, you know what I mean? And I got to a little bit at the end of the day, and as we do, I'm a factory worker and all that. Like, when you work really hard and that, you get your toilet breaks and stuff like that. So you go to the toilet, you check out your Instagrams and all that. The first thing that popped up on Instagram, James Fisher-Harris is signed with the Warriors. And it actually came up on the official page of the New Zealand Warriors. And, like, I was like, have I followed, like, a meme page that looks exactly like the official, like, Warriors page? Like, I didn't believe it to start with. And then, like, obviously, just everything else started dropping. Bang, 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 NRL.com. And I'm just like, this is for real. Like, we have got, like, one of the premier props in the competition. Like, that's fucking amazing. Like, that is so amazing. That's so crazy. And as 40, good to see you, 40, my bro, always in the chat, my man. Hold up, did it come up? Where is it? There we go. Get the chat up. How was it kept so quiet? This is a big thing too, guys. If you check out the whole competition, every other team and all that, this is what some teams really do struggle with, and this is why players struggle to go to certain clubs due to the amount of media that gets leaked out of these clubs. Both these two sides just showed how professional they are, especially in a sporting environment. Like, the Roosters don't usually leak things if they need to. The Melbourne Storm don't usually leak things as well. The Broncos are starting to get better at that, after their wooden spoon years and all that, where the media was just circling that club. It's good to see us hold this behind the curtains and no one really to find out. No one know the name. Even players out there. I just saw, I think on SEN, I think Chance was on SEN as well. I haven't seen that one yet, but I've seen Freddie Lussick on SEN and the boys dropping the news on him. And they thought it was Nas. Like, they were like, out of everyone, like, when they heard a big player that was going to be coming over to the Warriors, you could probably say Nas was probably in that argument as well. And then, like, out of nowhere, yeah, they say James Fisher-Harris, and Freddie was like, what? And we're talking about a player that is currently in our top 30 squad, has played like a couple of games for us, like a decent amount of games for us and all that. He's around the club. Like, that is mental. That is so good to see. And that's such a promising sign, especially comparatively to all other clubs in the competition. Like, the Tigers always have a problem with this where, Stefano had to actually go up to their management and say, guys, can you please stop leaking news? You know what I mean? Like, we could easily have Stefano. Stefano can come too if he wants to. Like, 675k, if that's true, bro. Like, we still got chips to actually throw around to other players. So shout out to Nad if he's still in the chat. We definitely still have some bicky going around that we could actually sign a couple more players. But yeah, I'm loving the chat right now, guys. You're absolutely incredible. As I said, I will get to you very shortly. Quickly, I do want to touch on, obviously, the stats. Some big things I do want to point out with Fisher-Harris and why I love him as a signing, especially, for next year and for the years, 4 years. He's got to really bleed his alpha dog, his leadership into this club. So moving on to the stats here, guys. So by season, obviously this season he hasn't played a lot of footy, you know, him dealing with injury and all that sort of stuff. But it's good to see, obviously, he's still going to get the average meters up there. He's had, you know, a couple of seasons here, the 130, 140 mark. So he'll still get up to where I think Mitch adds around that 150 at the moment. Adds is like one of those 170 to like higher range of run meters and stuff. So, you know, 140 is not too bad. So in attack, he's still going to get the go forward that we want. You know, post contact meters is still pretty high over here, with 1,308 being one of the highest. Actually, 1,500 seems to be his highest he's ever got to, which is a very, very solid number there. His tackle breaks being 54, being his best season here, which would have been last year. Really, really good signs there. Offloads, he's had one really big offload season here with 31. The rest of them, you got 26, 25 up here, but everything else he kind of he holds an offload. But he's got the ability to offload if we do need it to. But I think the big stat that we all love here, guys, is the tackle efficiency and, you know, how low his missed tackle numbers are comparatively to how many tackles he actually makes. And it shows the growth of the player as well. Like, you know, starting off in the competition, only holding an 84% tackle efficiency, and then growing to an 88, 90, 91. And at these highest, he got to a 95, actually 96 this year, but that's due to the amount of games he's actually had currently. So, you know, 95, man, like that's a really, really high tackle efficiency. And, you know, to only miss 37 tackles that year, that is mental. Like teams miss 37 tackles in a game. Like for him to do that in a complete year of 24 games, 27 games, you know, whatever it is, like that's completely mental. Actually, I want to see how many games he did that in. We go here. Yeah, 24 games. 24 games he did that in. Like, that's hectic. That's massive. That is absolutely massive. All right. Nuz, I'm loving the comments you're bringing today, my brother, but Leota might miss his bro and follow. This is another one that I was kind of joking around with a couple of boys at work. Like, you know, we got the big dog of Fisher Harris. Maybe Leota might get enticed a little bit. I'm not too sure. If you want to talk about, like, you know, NRL sort of view of, you know, where the Panthers go from here, the Panthers lose like such a big part of their middle with James Fisher Harris leaving. It kind of opens up the door maybe to a Terrell May sort of look. I'm not too sure if Terrell May's locked up and that, but maybe that goes their way for the Panthers. But does Leota maybe look at coming home? Does that open up some things? You know, I'm not too sure there. But Jazzy, I think Leota has too much whānau in Sydney, bro. So, yeah, that kind of would happen there. Punter, Barnett swap for Leota. Honestly, I'm loving what Barnett's doing for our club, and I don't really want to look at that like at all. But like for Leota's stand, like Leota is a top prop as well. So it's definitely it's enticing a little bit, but it's also Barnett's been incredible this year. Like I can't really want to see it let go there. Cole Luce, I'm sorry I missed your comment a little bit earlier, my bro, but we need to re-sign SJ real quick. And I think one of my bros, like we've been messaging and stuff about all this and that. That was one of the things he said, like, does this entice SJ to re-sign with the Warriors for one more year? As we've seen this year, SJ is still having a great year. He's still, you know, holding up with the best of the halves in the competition right now. Does SJ look at what we're doing now and go, ooh, next year? Like, even if I think we have the ability to win the comp this year, but with Fisher Harris coming next year, could we go back-to-back ones? Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is where all these big conversations come to. Fisher Harris is that much of a big signing for us that it's like, you know, premiership talk. Like, we're on premiership talk. How long has it been since we talked about premiership talk? I know we used to have the joke of, you know, this is our year and all that sort of stuff. But, like, guys, like, we are in these conversations now. Like, that's a massive, massive thing. Alec, do you think Nas could follow? Honestly, at the moment, bro, I don't think we need Nas. I know, like, if you told me for the start this year, like, you know, would you want Nas? I'd be like, yeah, I'd love to have Nas, you know, coming off the bench and all that sort of stuff. But, like, I'm not too sure if you guys are a little bit worried about Nas with the whole thing going on with the Melbourne Storm at the moment, him not coming in on weight, whether that really shows something. Actually, when we were actually talking about who the name could be, the big name that's going to be signing with us, I was thinking that, if it was Nas, maybe he was missing out of that Storm side early on in the season because of trade talks or something like that with the Warriors and that. But obviously that may not be true here, and maybe he still may have had a weight issue to start the season. And I don't think that's a great sign, especially, a player of Nas that has all the hype around him and the potential around him and all that has that big ego. I think with the Warriors, they've picked such a good player here in Fisher Harris that drives a standard. I think Nas is one of those players that wants a club to. I know he's at the Melbourne Storm and all that sort of stuff, but he still just seems to me as a player that could derail a couple of things. He may come in overweight, but still think he's good enough for first grade, that sort of thing. Where I just know that Fisher Harris is going to come here and do a job. And as Tahi wrote, leadership. I think that's the big thing. I don't think Nas has that leadership. Fisher Harris has that in spades. But if you got Fisher Harris and now we bring Nas, I don't know if we could do that, but that would be crazy to bring Nas off the bench with Fisher Harris, Barnett starting, Nia Corday getting back to that role that we want him to be, after injuries and that. Guys, this team, bro. This team. Oh, man. But yeah, back to it. We are actually in premiership talks now. You know what I mean? This is not just for this year. Now Fisher Harris coming next year. We're in talks for it next year as well. If we continue on the uptrend, it's not just a 1 year off. And last year we got to a point where we look like we jumped so high to that top 4 standard. We saw that and we were so impressed with that. But then there was a lot of questions from the Aussie media. And to be fair, looking at it now, I'll be fair, looking at the Warriors' history, I can understand why people were maybe it's just a one-hit wonder. They'll probably crash down to earth. We had a rookie coach for that year. But guys, the building blocks that we have now is getting better and better and better. And this is very much running the same sort of mold as what the Panthers did. We're taking away one of the Panthers' key players. It's Fisher Harris is out of that side. They have to fill him in with a Liam Henry, who else they got coming off the bench at the moment, bro? A Lindsay Smith that just are not the same level as a Fisher Harris. And whether Leota has to pull out a lot of minutes and stuff, we're damaging the title, the threats. You know what I mean? The best team in the competition are the Panthers to boost up us that were a top 4 team last year. This year, I think we have the ability to win the comp, and we're just adding these little pieces. We're taking away from the best and adding it to us. And that has the ability to maybe we could honestly have the chance of going to Dynasty. I don't want to talk too far and all that, but this is where we're growing to. And I'm so, so excited. And, the key areas of why the signing is so good, as I keep saying, is leadership, defense, and just aggression and just that scariness that we have in our pack. And I think the biggest one is leadership for the next coming years, 4 years and all that. But we know that our game plan right now is very defensive reliant. It's very defensive heavy. And we change the game with our aggression and our line speed and hold teams into their own end and create pressure that way. And one of the best players for that in this competition right now is James Fisher Harris. And shout out to 125 people that are watching this currently right now on any of your platforms. You're probably on my channel, Ash Thomas over there. If you're out on Ash Thomas, guys, go check out Wise Up TV as well. I'm live right now on Wise Up TV, an incredible channel. This is where most of my Warriors content will be sitting for you guys as well. So go check that out. Please like and subscribe there. And also on X, incredible. Thank you so much, guys, for you guys jumping in there. It's so good to see the support coming around this channel at the moment. But I absolutely adore it. So going through a couple of things I want to talk to you guys right now about. What does this mean to this pack? So what does this mean to our forward pack? So looking into, coming into next year, obviously we'll lose Adam Fanor-Blake. So we would look at maybe Mitch Barnett and James Fisher Harris, our front row duo there. I think that's a very, very solid duo overall. We still are working on Murata Niokore to be like that Spencer Leniu, that middle role that's going to come off the bench and bust out and change momentum through the middle. Add that with Tom Ale, that's adding strings to his bow a little bit. We have Bunty Afoa, that's actually growing really, really nicely for a player that has looked very stagnant for a decent amount of time, doing all little things and just growing and growing. even just other guys that can fill in, like we got Zions and all that coming through, but we got Jazzy still. We got Dylan Walkers that can fill up through the middle and all that. Like, man, like the forward pack of this team is just on a different level. Mel, I thought Sipley home from Manly. Yes, this is one that I actually thought of a little bit as well. And like, maybe that could still happen. Could you imagine Sipley being a part of that bench rotation as well? I think, we could do a lot worse than that. I think that's an incredible little comment there, guys. Joshua Hill. This is what I was kind of thinking of as well. Actually, maybe, Laban over forward. That's an interesting one. But, I understand why. Obviously, I do understand. But Barnett Egan, Fisher Harris, Laban, Catewell Harris, Chanel Harris Tavita, Niakore, Ale, and Mai Uu. Honestly, you could switch out Chanel if you wanted to. You could switch out Chanel to Walker. You could switch out Ale to Bunty. You could switch out Ale to maybe Laban goes back to the bench. You have Jackson Ford there. Like, bro, like the depth of the side is growing to some like different levels, and it's so good to see to be a Warriors fan. Anyone else got some thoughts around our bench and our rotation there? Now Fisher Harris comes in. Obviously, it still the spot of Adam Fanor-Blake, but still, just the way this club is moving, like I feel like that just we're adding these strings to our bow, and it's just growing to something really special. We're talking about a decent minute forward too. Like Fisher Harris can play some long minutes, and he just commands the middle of the field. And I feel like that's such a good thing to have. Obviously, Adam does very similar things for us, but I feel like Adam more so does that in attack. I feel like, we're looking at Fisher Harris doing that in defense. And as we know, guys, if you watch any sort of sport in the world, defense wins championships. And that's what it is. Attack can win games, but defense wins championships. And that's definitely a big comment to have there. Logan, Cheddar Boys. First time, what is that? First time if caught you live. We reckon Jazz gets another year. I'd say maybe the Warriors would give Jazz another year. I feel like, Jazz still has some stuff to prove for this Warriors side and all that. Obviously, he has to clean up his errors and that, but yeah, I think I would love to keep Jazzy around the club. I don't think Jazz would look anywhere else, to be honest, either. Like, I think Jazz loves the Warriors no matter what. Hard to believe, halfback next year. I would say Shawnee. I think Shawnee may go around another run now seeing Fisher Harris coming to the club. I think that Shawnee maybe would have saw his swan song year this year if, Adam was leaving and we weren't going to fill him with a big piece like this. I think filling him with a big piece like this kind of adds that little bit more flavor of like, Shawnee will kind of get that competitive juices of like, what can I do with Fisher Harris? You know what I mean? I think that's a really good thing there. Alberts, respectfully, can Tohu and Bunty trim their hair for charity? I really like that. Hopefully they do. Jazz, come on, Ivan. Let James go early. I'd love to see that. I would absolutely adore to see that. All right. So obviously this is the big question I want to give to you guys overall as well. Where does he go down as all-time signings? I'll give you a little bit of time to think about this. For me, this is really tough because, like, Ruben Wiki always holds up. Kevin Cambion, I obviously wasn't really around like as a Warriors fan. I was a general fan of rugby league and all that back in those days. But, going back through history, watching old tapes, loving the KO rewatches and that, but just going on YouTube, watching the tapes and that, but also just learning of what Cambion meant to the club as well and changing that club around that early 2000s era. I thought he was an incredible signing. Ruben Wiki is definitely an incredible signing. Obviously, Steve Price is like the first name that always gets pulled up to us as well. I think at the moment, this has got to be a top 5 signing of all time for us. I think like it's absolutely incredible. Like Roger coming back for us to start this year was a massive signing for us, in my opinion, like to see what we have as a club right now. But like, I want to see what you guys think. Where do you hold this overall? Like overall, hard to believe. Top 10 at this stage. If he wins the comp, then top 3. I like that. Actually, give that little bit of flavor of like, he's got to win a comp and all that to really be like a big signing for us. But like, as of like a needle mover and all that, like, Steve Price never won a comp with us. Kevin Cambion never won a comp with us and all that. But like, I see where your head's at and I kind of like that as well. 40. Webster is a top 3 signing of all time. This is something I will get into a little bit later, is where your thoughts are with Webby, because I'm going to probably end this video. It won't be too much of a live stream, long live stream here, guys, but like I want to end this with a little bit of Webby love, because like what Webby has done to this club is actually mental. Like it's actually mental to think about. And we'll just go back to, obviously, you know, where do you actually rank all time for your man here, James Fisher-Harris? Tahi, bro, top 5. I like that. If he wins a comp with us, top signing easily from Joshua Hill. I love that as well. Yeah, I very much agree. Like, it's got to be up there with the top 5, I think, in my opinion. Loho, Webby's draft sheet is goated. Bro, it's hard to argue with that. It really is hard to argue with that. Michael Williams, shout out to you, my brother. Thank you so much for coming through, my man. Loving the content, my bro. Keep going hard. Appreciate you, my bro. Thank you so much. Appreciate you coming over to Wise Up TV, man. Jazz, I don't really have, I don't really like comparing, really. Certain signings meant the world at a different times in different states of success at a club and lack of. Yeah, I do agree with you there too, Jazzy. Definitely different eras had different feelings around each signing and that. Like even ads, when we brought ads to the club, that felt really, really massive for us, especially in a dying time, like around that COVID period of time. You know, Phil Guild was supposed to be a massive signing for us in our development and all that. And you kind of see maybe a little touch of where he kind of was going with the development, but I've got to give it up to Webby and all those other boys there with McFadden and stuff of what they'd been doing for our development for our club at the moment. Nas Williams, Oosh, what about Mark Tukey? Mark Tukey is an absolute beast, man. I've seen him around the chaps too. I don't know if he lives around the Brisbane area or not, but every time I go to Magic Round, I see Mark Tukey there. I think it's been a couple of times now. Even like, I think with we went to the last year's, was it the preliminary final? I always get this mixed up, semi or preliminary or whatever with the Broncos. I'm sure I saw Mark Tukey there as well. But yeah, good old Tukes. He's incredible. Hard to believe. Yeah, mate, love the streams. Just found this channel this week. Yeah, bro, appreciate you coming through. You know, keep tuning in, man. Like and subscribe. I appreciate every single one of you guys. We're 138 viewers right now. Like, this is absolutely mental, and I appreciate every single one of you guys. I've just see, like, obviously the name of James Fisher-Harris will bring in a lot of this, but, like, thank you so much, guys. Wise Up TV, man, we're on the up and coming. If you guys aren't on Wise Up TV currently, please, after this stream, feel free to rewatch or whatever, but also just come to Wise Up TV. Give the bro Levon a like and subscribe and continue on, because me and Levon will be working closely to grow this channel into something special. Please make sure you come through. Evil West Sider, what's going on, my brother? Top 5 for sure. I don't know why I messed up your name like that, bro, but yeah, top 5 for sure. I agree. 40. Can we re-sign Mannering on unders so he can finally get a workhorse ring? Yeah, I'd love to see that. Get Michael Luck in there as well. Get all the old school boys in there. Just those old school workhorses. Like, they all deserve what's going on right now. It's so good to see. Crazy to know they signed him for $675K the year. Yeah, it was brought up a little bit earlier on in the stream, brother. It's like such an amazing signing. Like, just like think of the leadership, think of the money, think of like we're letting go of a massive contract of AFB and we're filling it with someone that's filling in a touch of that contract, like a decent chunk of it, obviously. But I think we still got like, you know, 300K in the bank of that contract going in there. And obviously I think RTS would have ate up a little bit of that if RTS is on like a contract that gets bigger and bigger over time. I'm not too sure what the full details was RTS contract and all that, but man, like some of the moves that the boys are making at Warriors HQ right now is on a different level. So shout out to Cappy and all that. Our CEOs, like, you know, even like our sponsors, One New Zealand, like everything that the Warriors are doing right now is on a different level. And I absolutely love it, especially being a fan of this club, especially going through the times of COVID and all that, where we looked a little bit dire. We've come out the other end and we're growing so quickly, like so quickly. So quickly. All right. Last thing. All right. I'm going to have to type this up because I forgot to actually put this one in. Let's give it some. Where is he? There we go. Let's get some Webby love in the chat, guys. Let's get some Webby love in the chat. Like, Honestly, to end off this video, guys, I want to give you my thoughts overall on Webby, and I've been doing it multiple times. If you checked out my channel personally on Ash Thomas on YouTube, go check me out if you haven't checked me out at all. I've given my thoughts over Webby already. After last year, I was incredibly proud to have a coach like him. Rookie year to take our club from second last to fourth. Just an mental improvement. But just the little things he continues to do. He's such a soft-spoken but also direct speaker. Like, he's so like balanced in everything. Like, he's so balanced of like knowing when to put his foot down, but also knowing, you know, the boys don't always need that. You know what I mean? They don't need a hard-nosed coach that's going to tell them what to do. We've had Nathan Browns of the worlds and all that sort of stuff that just didn't really fit the Warriors. Webby just fits so snugly in the Warriors. I don't know, like, it's so incredible to have someone that's come from that Penrith system that knows success and has like seen what Ivan has built around that, you know, that Panthers system and stuff. You know, to do that at the Warriors in his first tenure, like, honestly, his rookie year as a coach, he took us to fourth. It's his second year now. We're looking better and better. We're on the improve. Our game plan is so there. Like, it's always there. If you know, the big thing about, like, if you watch soccer and that, a lot of big soccer channels always talk about is, you know, a lot of them don't really care the way, like, they do care if they're winning or losing and that, but they care about the way they play football. And, like, you know, the way you know a club's, like, you know, going to go on the up and up is when they find an identity. And the Warriors have found an identity, and they've found a game plan. They've found a style. Very similar to the Panthers, but we got our own little sprinkle on top of it where we got Shawnee, you know, playing those out the back set plays. You know, the Panthers usually play back in to the middle of the ruck and they really damage the middle of the ruck and that. We got Wado that can do very similar things for the middle. We just got that little bit of spice that we add on top of that little bit of a game plan. And, you know, it's showing... It's that, you know, we are called the Warriors, and I think Webby is just like, this is what this club was supposed to mean. This is what we're supposed to mean, is a club that's hard-nosed. When teams go to New Zealand, they should come home with ice packs, and just that flight home should be hell. And we've seen that each and every game this year, no matter what, no matter if we don't look the best, no matter what, like, sort of situation we find ourselves into, we batter and bruise that team. Like, Manly on the weekend, even though we drew and that wasn't our best performance, we dropped them down with Ben Trebojevic and a couple of injuries left, right, and center. The pressure we put on that team, the structures that we have in place to really put pressure on the team and soak them through the middle, the fatigue we put into a team. Bro, like, the growth from there is incredible. But anyway, back to Webby. Webby coming in, picking up players like Barnett, and I don't even think that, like, you know, there's a lot of rumors of, like, obviously that wasn't even his picks of players that he brought into the club. I kind of have a feeling maybe he had a little bit of a chat there, but, like, you know, we've got Barnetts and stuff like that. All these boys are playing on the peak of their powers, but Webby's brought over a player like Catewell that's had that experience, and he knows experience wins things. And, you know, he wants to show these young juniors that are coming through, like, how to win football games. And these sort of guys, Fisher Harrises of the world, you know, the Catewells of the world, you know, even players like, you know, now Shawnee, he's learning these sort of things and that, and he can give down to the players that are coming up beneath him. That's Webby. Like, that's what Webby is doing. And, like, I feel like Webby was such a key piece into having Fisher Harris move back to New Zealand. I honestly do think, like, I feel like compassionate grounds, 100%. Like, that happens. Happens in workplaces all the time. Sometimes you just got to quit your job for whatever reasons and all this and that, right? But, like, I feel like whenever maybe Fisher has gone to him and be like, what's your thoughts? You know, if the Warriors were a wooden spoon team right now, I don't think Fisher would be like, do I come home to play for the Warriors that are playing wooden spoon, or do I maybe look at rugby? Do I maybe look at other options? Maybe I'd want to stay in Penrith maybe a little bit more than going home and playing for a team that's not doing anything. But Webby has created this whole thing of, like, everyone that comes there plays at their best, and everyone's having career years with us. And, you know, Fisher Harris has looked at that and enticing. And now we've got a New Zealand captain. We've got a golden boot winner that's coming to the club, and he is a captain of the Kiwis, which is a big, big deal for the New Zealand Warriors. We have a Kiwis captain that's going to come home, like, and just drive that whole thing of, like, maybe Webby can entice, you know, there's players out there like, you know, Isaiah Papali'i, whether we want him back. But, like, you know, when we're a team going this well, we become the team that everyone wants to go to. And I feel like that's what we've always struggled with as the Warriors. You know, we've had that in years past. There's a couple of times where we've been very enticing, but overall in those COVID periods, we weren't very enticing, and we're giving contracts to anyone and everyone that just wanted to play for us or even want to play first grade. That happened a lot. Obviously, Reese wanted to touch first grade. He ended up signing with us. And I still believe, if Reese continued on his tenure and like things didn't happen in his personal life, if you guys know, maybe he could have stayed with the Warriors and built something special there. But, other players like, Joshi Curran wanted to stay with us as much as he could, but obviously he got the opportunity to play first grade so he come to us. Players like Jack Murchie, Ewan Aikens and all that. They honestly were pretty much on their last legs of their other deals, and they signed with the Warriors just to play first grade. It wasn't play with the Warriors. Now I feel like we've got such a club that people want to go to and people want to come to and really like put their flag in the ground and say, we're going to change something here. And Fisher Harris plants that flag in the ground, but guess what? It's a Kiwi flag. And that's a massive thing for the NRL competition. I feel like all you guys out there being Australian, being New Zealand fans and all that sort of stuff, obviously you see, the Aussie media, the way everything's sort of shaping around being, as a Queenslander as well, I don't want to be that guy, but like when you see the competition, you still feel like it's New South Wales Rugby League that has a little touch of Queensland teams and then the Melbourne team and you got the Kiwi team in there. But to have a stud like this that has touched the big level. The Kiwis have beaten the Australian Kangaroos in the Pacific Championship game with a record win with Fisher Harris at the helm. And he's coming home to New Zealand, and hopefully maybe we can win a championship there, and New Zealand will not just only be an international threat to Australia, but also a competition threat to the NRL. And I think, we gotta praise Webby for doing this in such a short tenure. 2 years, man. Tell me another time you've seen a coach do that. And especially when you're looking at our coaches of all time, he's growing a resume that rivals some of our best coaches of all time. Dan Anderson's, loving Dan, what he did in history and that. And I think I think Webby has the highest win percentage right now as our coach, but due to, he's had limited games comparatively to Ando. I think Ando had our second highest win percentage, and then you got Ivan Cleary around there as well. Obviously the Ivan Cleary tenure we had, like, man, incredible. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much to every single one of you in the chat. You guys have been all amazing. Obviously, it's so good to celebrate this news with you guys and get all your thoughts out there, because I think, our community that we're building is incredible. And it's not just our community as Wise Up TV, it's our community as New Zealand Warriors fans and New Zealand Warriors on YouTube. Like, I've always felt like, there's a space for rugby league content on YouTube. I've seen it with EPL channels and all that sort of stuff, but I know that rugby league content can grow to be something really, really special. And you guys, I feel like New Zealand is actually on the forefront of this. Our fan base is on a different level. You can see this on, like, you're watching on TV. Obviously, I live in Australia. I get to go to the Gold Coast games, the Suncorp games in Queensland and stuff like that. I see the fan base that we have over here. And then I see on TV what we have in New Zealand. And man, like, I can't wait to go to New Zealand, catch up with some really good friends of mine, but also go catch up with you guys and catch a game over there and just be a part of the mentalness that is Go Media Stadium at the moment, because you guys are going mental. Like, absolutely love it. And I love the chat, guys. Bring Nathan Cleary home. I would absolutely love that. Honestly, if Ivan Cleary never left, I honestly would have think, Nathan would be probably. Could you imagine a halves pairing of Nathan and Sean Johnson? Like, that would be such a mental pairing. That would be such a mental pairing. Sorry, guys, I didn't go crazy, but Nuz Williams, cheers, mate. Gold Coast, that's a. Currently, I'm actually in North Brisbane, bro, so that's why I can go to those sort of ones. But yeah, incredible. Thank you so much, everyone. All the love in the chat. Tahi, bro, awesome show, Ash. Wise Up TV, book a corporate box. I would absolutely love that. Shout out to Levon. Hopefully he gets a corporate box in New Zealand. I know he did a little bit with the 1NZ over there. It's so good to see that man get like repaid for all the hard work he's doing, especially with his channel and all that. He's been reaching out to me so much, and he's the reason why I'm on this channel, honestly. Like, he does amazing work around there. So it's good to see him get the fruits of his labor, and hopefully he continues to grow, because that guy's on a different level. When's the next one, bro? Is this a stream, brother? Is this what you're talking about, or next video? If you're talking about this, we got, Obviously, the post-match show, full credit to the boys. We got that coming on Friday, so go check that out, guys. We will be scheduling that pretty shortly. It's looking like for a New Zealand time, it'll probably be like a 10:15 New Zealand time around that, which would mean probably about 8 o'clock in my time or whatever. So do keep an eye out on all your socials and stuff for our scheduling and that. But yeah, you guys are absolutely incredible. As I said before, the Warriors in such a good position, and you guys are one of the reasons for it. The amount of support that you guys are getting behind New Zealand right now, and also Webby, the club. Man, such a good time to be a Warriors fan. Such a good time to be a Warriors fan. Appreciate every single one of you guys. I love all you guys out there. Thank you so much for all the support on both this channel, my channel, everyone's channel. Thank you so much, guys. Up the Wars. Let's go, Fisher Harris. Come on. Bring it over. If you want to come early, feel free. Pair you up with Adam Fanua-Blake. I feel like that would be a really good little duo there. But thank you so much, guys. Please feel free. If you want to rewatch the stream, if you missed out any sort of time or whatever, go rewatch the stream overall. But actually, Cole, I love this comment. Ash, go get a Waz tattoo. I would love to. Honestly, I love a little bit of ink and all that. Obviously, I got the Joker and stuff on my arm and that. I got a little bit of Samoan pattern for my missus and stuff. So, yeah, maybe I should get a Warriors tattoo. Maybe. Hey, this year, guys, if we win a premiership, you know where your boy's going. I'm getting a premiership tattoo. And hopefully I'll leave a little bit of room for 25, 26, 27, maybe go all the way up. Let's see how we go. But appreciate every single one of you guys. Thank you so much. Please make sure you tune into our post match show this Friday as well. And also just rewatch the streams and all that. Like and subscribe. Share to all your friends and all that. Thank you so much, guys. I know it's so hard to leave right now, but on your forehead. Oh, bruh. Thank you, Richie. Appreciate you guys. Take it easy.